To get the tools you need to develop your iPhone or iPad apps, you have to join the developer program. Benjamin Franklin's famous Join or Die political cartoon of the 1760s could well be applied to Apple's role today in the mobile software industry. You can't gain independence on your own. You need the powerful movement of a large group. Apple needs developers, and developers need Apple. Now, Apple is clearly on a mission with the iOS-based iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch, and the App Store ecosystem. And that mission is to change the user experience. And you have to join. And once you join, you get the robust Software Development Kit, or SDK, along with comprehensive information and reliable support. Most importantly, you must join if you want to develop apps for the iPhone or iPad. You have to follow Apple's policies and procedures. Although the iOS Software Development Kit is free, you have to register as an Apple developer first. Registering also gives you access to all of the documentation and all other resources in the iOS Development Center. This whole ritual transforms you into a registered iOS developer, capable of developing for the iPad, iPod Touch, and iPhone. Now, becoming a registered Apple developer is free, as is the SDK. But there's a catch. If you actually want to run your app on a real iPhone or iPad, as opposed to only on the simulator that comes with the SDK, you have to pay a fee and join the iOS Developer Program. Although you can register as a developer and join the iOS Developer Program all in one step, you may want to register as an Apple developer first. After all, it's free. Then, after you get your feet wet with the SDK, you can pay the fee and join the iOS Developer Program. Now remember, what you see when you go through this process may be slightly different from what you see in this video, but don't panic. It's because Apple changes the site from time to time. Although just having to register is annoying to some people, it doesn't help that the process itself can be a bit confusing. But here's what you have to do to become a developer. First, register as an Apple developer, which is free, and then you can start coding with the SDK. And if you've already registered, you can jump right to the SDK and download it now. Second, you join the iOS Developer Program, pay the fee, and then you can test your app on your iPhone and iPad, and also distribute the app on the App Store. So let me show you how to become a registered developer. First, point your browser to developer.apple.com/iOS. Doing so brings you to a page similar to the full iOS Dev Center page, which you see in front of you. You may be tempted by some of the links, but they only get you so far until you log in as a registered developer. If you've registered already, click Login and supply your Apple ID and password. Otherwise, click the Register link in the upper right corner next to the Login button. You see a page explaining why you should become a registered developer and what Apple has to offer developers, along with a Get Started button. Click Get Started. A page appears asking whether you want to create a new Apple ID or use an existing one. Here's the deal. You can use your Apple ID, the one you use in iTunes, for example, or MobileMe, or the Apple Store. Or you can create a whole new Apple ID. Either way, you would then log into the Dev Center. Now, if you don't have an Apple ID, select Create an Apple ID and click Continue. The Complete Your Personal Profile page appears, where you can enter your desired Apple ID and password. You can fill out the personal profile form, and at the bottom, click Continue. If you have an Apple ID, select Use an existing Apple ID, and then click Continue. You can then sign in with your Apple ID. Once you've registered as an Apple developer and logged in, you reach the Member Center page. You can then go directly to the iOS Dev Center page by clicking iOS under the Dev Center's subheading. At this point, you are a registered Apple developer, and you can download the iOS SDK and use any of the resources in the iOS Dev Center page. However, registering as a developer isn't the same as joining the developer program, which is what you need to do to actually run your app on your own or on anyone else's iPhone or iPad. You also need to join the program in order to distribute your app through the App Store. So let's look at how you do that. Point your browser to developer.apple.com/programs to see more about the iOS Developer Program and other developer programs on the Program page. Here you see the iOS Developer Program for companies and individuals, which is $99 a year. You also see the Mac Developer Program for $99 a year. And if you scroll the programs page down, you'll see the Develop In-House iOS Apps for Your Enterprise link here, and that's for joining the enterprise version of the iOS Developer Program. Now, what do these mean? The iOS Developer Program offers two options. The individual or company option at $99 a year enables you to develop as many apps as you want for the iPhone, the iPod Touch, and the iPad. You can test them on your iPhone or iPad or iPod Touch and distribute them on the App Store. The Enterprise option for $299 a year allows enterprises to develop in-house custom applications and distribute them to their employees. Now let's go back to the Programs page. You can compare Apple developer programs by clicking the Compare Developer Programs link at the bottom of the page. Here you can find all the details about all the different developer program options. For example, to learn about the iOS Developer Program option for individuals, click the Learn More button. The Learn More button takes you to the iOS Developer Program information page, where you can click the Enroll Now button to enroll in the program. As you can see, the first step is to register as an Apple developer. If you've already done that, you can go right to Select Your Programs and complete your purchase. After clicking Enroll Now, Apple displays the steps it takes to get to enrollment. Click Continue, and you can then log in as an existing Apple developer if you've already registered, or you can register as a new Apple developer and then enroll in the program. For example, if you've registered as I showed before in this video, you would then click here as a registered developer who wants to enroll in the paid Apple Development Program. You then click Continue. Apple displays more information and allows you to choose between individual and company. As you can see, with a company enrollment, you can have several people on a development team, whereas with an individual enrollment, you are the sole developer. After choosing individual or company, the Apple Developer Program Enrollment Personal Profile page appears if you need to continue adding personal information. You've probably already did this when you registered as an Apple developer. If you've already registered and have already agreed to the developer agreement, you go directly to the payment page, where you can enter your payment information and click Continue. Although joining as an individual is easier than joining as a company, enrolling as a company has some clear advantages. For example, you can add team members, and your company name appears in your listing in the App Store rather than your name. So when you join as an individual, your real name shows up when a user buys or downloads for free your app in the App Store. If you're concerned about privacy, or if you want to seem bigger than just a sole proprietor, the extra work involved in signing up as a company may be worthwhile for you.